too many. Way too many negatives. Hey man, it's that You Heard podcast, man. You see we have full strength. And we got a special guest on the back end of this intro, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be crazy. Hey man, like, comment, share, subscribe, 5-star reviews, all that, man. We ain't gonna waste too much of your time, man. Let's get to this intro. Let's chop it up. Y'all good, fam? You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the You Heard podcast with your hosts, Ben, Joe, and CB. We're here to cover everything related to Miami Hurricanes football, from hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
All right, we'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it at the end.
No. Let's talk about that shit right now because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate it. I'm saying, like,
I mean, what did you talk? What are we talking about, son?
Get into it. I felt
Keep it in the book. You heard?
Hey man, look, we got a big guest on the show today, man. Before we bring him on, I know he can hear this. You know what I'm saying? 6'5", 220, defensive end, edge killer, crushing, but 112 tackles last year, 9 sacks. Let's go. The number's going to jump off the screen this year. Look, man, I don't care what the rankings say. He's number one in everything. You know what I'm saying? He's a king, so that's different. Let's go, man. Marquise Lightfoot on the show, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. CB, you already know how we do, man. Let's cook. Let's cook, man. Let's talk about it. How you doing? How you doing first, Marquise? Everything good, man?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I'm glad I found a family with this recruitment, so I'm good about everything. I'm here to stay.
It's a family, man. It definitely is. It definitely is a family.
You hear that word a lot with this class. You hear the word family a lot with this class. To that, obviously, we saw when you were committing, you had your family there with you. Was that a big part of why you chose Miami, that family atmosphere, what Cristobal is trying to build down here?
Yeah. When you on all of my other visits, you was able to see the connection between the players, the coaches, and the teammates. But on my visit to Miami, though, my first 2 times, that was something that really stood out, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, you know, I joined what Coach Cristobal showed me his vision was, and I see everything is falling into play.
Yes. Did you get a chance in your conversations with Coach Guidry? Because I'm sure you've talked to Coach Guidry and Coach Jason Taylor a lot. What are your first impressions of Coach Guidry and Jason Taylor?
They fun people. You know, they not they like more of a peer big brother type of league.
Shit.
My bad. I got a call.
Are you here?
He's more like a peer big brother type of coach instead of like the Army captain. And that wasn't really what that's not motivational. Like with them, I know I'm able to get work done, and with the vision, I know that we gon' make the U back to what the U was.
No doubt. So real quick, you made a good point about the type of coach. You know, not the disciplinarian yelling all the time. It seems like that's what motivates you to be great. Are you a self-motivated person? Is it, your teammates around you, the coaches? What's your motivation?
My motivation is making a better life for myself.
Making a better life.
Phone calls.
My bad. I keep getting calls. What was I saying?
Nah, you good.
My motivation comes from
your
making
motivation.
a better life for my
motivation.
Yeah, my motivation. It comes from making a better life for myself and my family, like being able to change their life with a simple being good at football. Like that can take you a long way. And I'm just riding along with the trip. You know, as I'm on my recruitment process, I'm able to see how like my life changes from only seeing Chicago. Like with my recruitment process, my first time on a plane was to Alabama. Like you're not able to see stuff like this.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That's a great point.
Definitely.
That's such a great point. You know, you never think about stuff like that. Like sometimes your first experience can already change your whole world. Let's go back to your commitment, man. I remember we were all watching it, right? We were all talking because we were talking about it the day before. And in the commitment tape, you know, I'm saying 24/7 does a live stream. I want to give a shout out to whoever that was in like the fourth row that busted out that orange, you know what I'm saying, that did the little floating thing orange first. Because we were all nervous. So like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Marquise was like, we didn't know where you were gonna go. We were watching. I was like, all right. So he busted down. I was like, we're good. Because no other school had orange. I was like, good. Solid. Let's make this move. Just keeping it real. So tell me what that was like, man. You're sitting there next to your mom and just going through that whole process, man. Like, tell us about the emotion of that day, because, you know what I'm saying, none of us are going to be in that moment because we're all older, you know what I'm saying, and our days are long.
Yeah, I know. I'd say it was like a lot of weight off my shoulders. Yeah. I'd say it was a lot of weight off my shoulders. It was a lot of weight off my shoulders with the whole just choosing the school. Like, I know it's not finalized until you finally sign that paper, but that was like the first big step, the first real step that proved that everything was actually happening. Mm-hmm. Like with my coaches, they've been on the ride with me as I was going through my recruitment process. They were the ones taking me everywhere, making sure I got exposure from the camps and just being synced by people for like the scouts. So that was a lot of weight off their shoulders, and it was like I was a little brother of the group. So like I was a little one, like I was a sophomore starter. So everyone, like, they already went through their process. Right. So like they filled the stands up waiting for mass. Like the 21 class, the 22 class, they were all like up in tears because they all finally got to choose my school.
Nice. That's dope, man.
That's dope.
That's interesting to hear. So to that, obviously, when those guys graduate, you now become the guy on the defense, the guy on the team. What was that transition like for you, becoming the leader in the locker room? Because a couple years ago, you're looking at someone thinking, "Ooh, I want to be the next him." Now there's guys on that team that's like, "I'm gonna be the next Marquise," and they want to wear 7 when you leave. What's that experience like for you?
It's fun. Like it's like it adds more responsibility on my plate, and that's like, you know, I'm the playful character. So like you heard the other kids or the other people my age like telling them to stop playing, and I'm in the locker room playing right with them. Like like I gotta learn how to put my foot down, but it's like it's fun though. It's fun to learn that. So yeah, I hear that a lot about guys want to get my number. Like they was asking me to switch to number 1 so they could have West 7, stuff like that. So it was just fun.
Nah, that's you.
It comes with the territory, right? You know, there was someone that you watched that you probably was like, "Ooh, like I'm gonna take that move. I want to be him." Every time you get a sack, every time you make a tackle look crazy, there's a sophomore, there's a freshman going, "Ooh, Lightfoot, I'm gonna be like Lightfoot." Yeah. So to 7. What is it about 7 that's special to you? Why number 7?
Dope number, baby.
It's a lucky number. Yeah, it's just a lucky number. It's like a lot of meaning behind that.
Yeah,
so
that's dope.
Love it.
I wear it on my chest and my back with pride.
Yeah, 7 is a great number, baby. I wore that in college, man. I was 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's why, Joe. This
Marquise, what you gonna major in, man? When you get to college, what you gonna major in?
Going into the process, I was looking at kinesiology or exercise science. Okay. Like I want to learn how to take care of myself even more, like on a nerd point of it. Like like what to do when I get a bruise on my arm, or when I see shin splints or something. Like a more nerdy way of taking care of myself. That's just statistical way of taking care of myself.
Yeah. So you can know when you in the training room, you can actually know what they doing to you, and pay attention to what's going on, man. Yeah, definitely.
That's important too, man. Like, hey, hold on. I don't need shock therapy for this. This is I know what I need for this. Like, that's important.
Yeah.
It's not nerdy at all, man. It's invested in your health and your future, man. Because you're saying those all the impact that you take in football. That's actually a brilliant way to look at it, man. So I want to ask you, man, that the conversations with Coach Taylor. I know Joe asked earlier, but was it beneficial seeing somebody of like your body type and obviously a Hall of Famer? Was that something that led you to? And what were those conversations like when he's telling you like how to move and you're like, yo, he did it because he's similar in frame to me and what my body type is right now.
I'd say it's like putting trust in them because a lot of coaches be like, I'm not gonna say where a lot of coaches from like certain schools are saying like, oh, you haven't coached before, so you shouldn't even take a chance. But I just felt it like in my heart, and it was like a deep feeling. Like he knew what he's talking about. Like right before I went on most of the camps this year, he told me like basically how to play it, like certain moves that with his body type and his size coming into high school and college, like moves that worked for him. So I tested it out, and you know it was true to the word, true to what he spoke to me. So like knowing that he experienced what I'm about to go through, I just took my chance under his wing.
That's dope, man.
That's dope.
That you love hearing that because there's that trial and error, right? There's that let's see if this move really hit. Like, you know, I know you say it worked for you, but let me go test this thing out. And then you end up making a tackle look stupid. You like, oh, hold up, let me try the second one he gave me too. Let me see what else. So we've all seen the tape, we've seen the highlights, we've seen what you can do on the field. You are just as dominant against the run as you are against the pass. But for someone like you, what's more exciting when you get a big tackle for loss or when you get a big sack?
I'd say either a forced fumble or a strip sack or just ripping the ball out, because it's like that's how I say it's like, you know, it's like more funner on the offensive part of it. Like let's say I catch the ball and so happen to be running because I'm playing tight end this year, but like let's say I tap it out. You
played some tight end last year too. I was gonna get into that.
Yeah,
that's
what I was about to ask.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead and get into it. Because if you watch the tape, they had the boy out there.
Yeah.
But
you feel like go ahead.
I say like catching that pass and then looking to the crowd, hearing the crowd, like just like that's.
So it sounded like you wanted to talk to Coach Dawson too, man. It sounded like you wanted to.
He been on me since I got down there. He telling me he gonna make me take a couple reps, just like that.
Yeah. You going both ways, huh?
Yeah, he said that's how you win the halves, man. 9 touchdowns and 30 tackles for loss, something like that.
Facts.
That's easy. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Hey,
that's crazy.
That's wild. That's
for real. So
I'm just thinking that
we got that. So it appears that you like offense and defense equally, or do you like?
I say I like offense more, if I'm being honest, but I'm true to my defense. Like, there's no feeling like catching a touchdown pass, or but there's no other feeling than hitting somebody and making them drop the ball. Like that's even better. And then hearing the crowd scream, like somebody say. I can't even.
Already,
you know exactly what they screaming. They screaming, "Stop hitting my son!" Is what they screaming.
I didn't want to say it on him, but I was.
They screaming, "That's my baby!" They screaming, "Pick him up!" They screaming, "Scrape him up off the turf!" They screaming all of these things.
Oh, bro, that's an automatic timeout. You gotta take a knee away from him to get up.
Hey, Lightfoot's nickname on the squad is automatic timeout. They don't even know it. If he third down and his teammates be like, "All right, get the water, y'all. It's gonna be a timeout." He mad. He gonna hit somebody.
About to take a break. Oh man! So what are your goals for this season coming up? Man, your senior season. I'm saying leaving that final print at your school, man. What are your goals for this season?
I'd say none short of a championship ring, state championship ring, because my sophomore year starting, we won a city championship. Junior year starting, we were quarterfinal finalists. And then hopefully this year we, stand true to what people appear us to be, and we just gonna win that state title. Because we got all the pieces this time. It's just always been a couple pieces missing that would just like make our state run a little short than what we finished at. But we got everything we need this year, so we should be good.
You know what I gotta say, man? That's the answer as opposed to like talking about your stats because you're thinking about the team. So that says a lot about you, man, and how you approach this game, man. Like because you're already looking at it, invested in yourself, studying kinesiology and exercise science, and your answer was, "Hey, man, I want to win a title with this team." That's dope, man. Salute to you. That's dope. Joe, what you got, man?
Yeah.
CB.
Hey, to that, you're about to gear up for trying to get a state championship run. Shout out some of those players in that locker room with you that you're about to go to war with this year.
He got nicknames for us, though. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he got a story that just hit his head that he can't say here. Shout out some of them guys that you going to war with this year.
On the defensive side, we got Ivan, Cam, Majay, Mako. On the offensive side, we got Kari, Amarion, Ethan, BJ, Jacob, Lemire.
Let's go.
We got the O-line, and we got Day, Russ, Bradley. We got Coach Q, Coach G, Coach Kevo, Coach A. It's a lot of people.
It's the whole squad.
That's the squad right there.
Great.
They all stand with the same mentality.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
So,
are you have you been chopping it up with any of the current Miami players or any other recruits?
Oh yeah,
coming up?
Most of the recruits, I'm cool with Miles Morales, or I'm tweaking, Miles Young.
Okay, yeah.
So,
yeah. Miles Morales. Shout out to Spider-Man. Shout out to Spider-Man. Miles Morales. Yeah. He was my previous teammate. So he was the senior when I was a freshman. So I was like real little bro. But like I always worked out with him because he used to come back and like work out with our strength coach. Mm-hmm. But on my visits with him, he's the person I usually hang out with, and he like got me connected with most of the teammates. So I'm already, got my hands dirty with them.
No doubt.
They're crazy up there.
Group chats and all that. Those group chats be going crazy, baby.
Yeah, it's probably going down in them.
Yeah, those group chats be going bananas.
Who's up? Me?
What you got, Ben?
All right. Last question, man. I know you got bounce out in a couple minutes. Who on the O line is that lineman that makes you better, man? Who's in practice? Who's that one that pushes?
Russell.
He knew.
He not new, but like he the best O-lineman. So he the only O-lineman I'm gonna give his props, and that's Russell because he go against me every day. And like I'm allowed to work on real moves with him because he knows the skills of a real O-lineman. He just doesn't have like the exposure as most of them do because of his height, but he's 100% the best one now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Okay.
I got for my last one, I got a non-football question for you. Outside of football, give us a talent that Marquise Lightfoot has that's not just being dominant on the field.
Oh, I can hoop.
I was going to ask you that because you're from the Chi, man. So like that's hoopers. That's where hoopers is at, man.
They already know that.
Yeah,
you be out here dunking on people.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got hops, so you gotta like gather your feet. You gotta gather your feet on the break.
Open up one leg. I don't know. I jump high off one leg, then I do off two. So
yeah.
I gotta see the highlights. Come on.
I can swim. I play baseball. Yeah, I'm good at baseball still, but that's just not my sport.
What position in baseball?
Second base.
You a big second baseman, bro.
6'5",
second baseman.
I played it when I was young.
Biggest second baseman
anywhere.
Okay. All right. That was the biggest second baseman in the history of baseball. Yeah, I would have said like.
Now, could you
outfield or first
imagine
base.
pitching and 6'5" him come up to the plate
Oh, it's
and
like
you on the
Aaron
mound?
Judge. It's like Aaron Judge, man. 6'7"
Aaron Judge.
Hey.
Yeah.
Give him 4 balls, put him on first base, and stop playing with me. I'm not pitching to this.
But nah,
Oh,
that's the only thing that come off the top of my head that I'm good at for real. You know, I could play the game, you know, get somebody, you know, make somebody pass the sticks, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm still just an athlete.
Yeah.
I might be up in Chicago.
What games
man? I might have to catch a game, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh, you are gonna be in Chicago.
Yeah, I might be in Chicago.
Last one, man. What games you play? What games you play on them sticks, man? What you play? Madden, 2K.
I play shooting games. I play Call of Duty, Apex, stuff like that.
Oh, he get it.
I ain't been on that in a minute though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been a little busy, Marquise. You know what I mean? It's been a crazy summer, man. It's been a crazy summer. Hey man, we really appreciate your time, man. You know what I'm saying? It was dope.
Yes.
Tell your mom thank you, man. She's man. It was a great time, man. And we'll see you out. We'll see you out at the field, man, because we're gonna be out there for every game when you out here, man.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
Thank you very much, man. Taking the time out.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Be safe.
All right, man. Appreciate you. You too, brother.
Bro, can you imagine pitching against somebody that big? I'm not doing it.
Aaron Judge is the only comp.
Aaron Judge is the only comp.
Yeah, I'm not pitching against him.
Yeah.
Also, him being a hooper, that makes a lot of sense too. Why he's got that quick footwork, why he's so agile like that. That makes a lot of sense.
That's the thing, right? They say up north, New York, Chicago, basketball, baseball, then football. You know what I mean? And that's how it was. That's how it was.
That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me. I didn't play football until 7th grade, and that's after I moved here. I just always played basketball and baseball, and then I moved here.
That was the opposite for me. Like I've been playing football. I played football when I was 5, and then I played baseball. I didn't play basketball until like 7th grade. When I found out I could dunk, then I started playing basketball.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's New York, that's the opposite, So
I started playing baseball and basketball from a young age. So I grew up in the Bronx, so baseball was, I knew the Yankees before I knew what anything else was. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wanted to, and because of how old I am, I grew up with Derek Jeter. So Derek Jeter's rookie year, I was young enough to remember it. Mm-hmm. So I grew up during that dominant period of the 90s.
Great time, son. Oh my God.
It was a great time.
in the city, son. Oh my
Bernie Williams, Chuck Knobloch, Tito Martinez.
It was a great time in the city.
Boys was squatted up back then, man. It was great.
The greatest closer of all time.
Up at first.
I mean, everybody was roided up. I mean,
not like Giambi. Not Jeter. Not Jeter. Not the captain.
Jeter was clean. Shout out to the greatest closer of all time, man, Mariano Rivera, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mariano.
Go. Inner Sandman, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
That was my guy.
Hey, man, look, we got a lot to talk about, man, but we're going to get into this Caneswear ad because
you man. Can't hold up. Hold up, man.
Hold up. So you got it? Yep, there it is. All right.
Welcome to Caneswear. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive just south of I-595 or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
I need to order my bag from Caneswear, man, so I could pick it up.
Are you selling at the backpack?
Now I'm about to order that. I'm about to order my orange because Texas A&M is an orange out, right? So I gotta order something.
I was looking.
I ain't really got no orange shirts.
Right now they must be waiting for the 2023. You know what I'm saying? Drop or something because they're orange. There's not as many and not as many sizes. Like I was looking last night because I need one. You see? I'm not even acknowledging what's happening down there.
Yeah, we don't know. Listen, Miami coaches.
I got it from Caneswear.
I'm not.
I got it from Caneswear.
Listen. You see that chain? Yeah. I don't like it. Okay?
Yeah. No, we don't like it either. This is not. We don't condone the behavior of our
Shout out to
co-host.
Caneswear and Dime Life. Shout out to Dime's Life and Caneswear. Shout out to DJ Williams supporting our alumni.
I just want to say that for the record, we don't want to be on any
I'm just
list.
supporting my alumni. That's it. I'm supporting the alumni
You
from
forgot to ask him
Miami,
the
DJ
Marvel
Williams.
question, bro.
I did. Hey, but he said Miles
yeah.
Morales, so I'm taking it for a W.
Yeah,
if
no,
that's
that,
okay
yeah.
with y'all.
I feel like that was the answer. He knew
He
Miles
wouldn't have said
Morales is
that.
better.
He would have let. He wouldn't.
Bro,
But he would've-
he
I
had
think-
Miles
I
on his
think-
brain.
It don't matter.
I think we might have to start beginning to understand that some maybe younger players see Spider-Man differently than we do, and that's
They
all right.
don't see him as a person to help save the world. They just see that they see him as
I've
a
easily
fun,
gotten to it.
quirky guy. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
cute. You know what I mean? That's what they
He's
see.
adorable.
so disrespectful with the way he talks about Spider-Man, bro.
It really is.
He's so
It's Spidey.
He's
His name
he's
is
quirky.
Spidey, son.
He's
It's Spidey.
he's cute.
He's quirky.
He's
you know what I mean?
cute. Man is a superhero. He
He's
called him
witty.
cute.
Hey, Spidey. Hey, Spidey.
Oh, look at Spidey. Look at him. Oh my God. Oh.
Hey, shout out to
Come here,
Meech.
Spidey.
Shout
Come
out to
here,
Meech who
buddy.
picked Spider-Man.
Shout out to Shamar Kirk too. Back-to-back weeks. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, shout out to
It's
Kane.
just a
Alright,
popularity
Shout out to Kane,
contest.
bro.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
That's all.
Yeah.
It's just popularity.
But that was honestly like it's a very bad percentage because it's like we've asked that question to like 15, 20 people that we've had on the show. It's only been 2 that have said it. So it's
Yeah, I've only
Spider-Man
got 2
ain't exactly
dubs.
winning.
I got
2
2.
for 15,
I've got 2.
Yeah.
And then I
You-
think one somebody said Spider-Man, but he also said he don't really know any of them. So he was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Spider-Man. I took that one too.
Yeah,
I took that one.
that was the walk-on quarterback. He's like he goes.
That was,
Superman. Yeah.
Luna? Kobe?
No.
Ripley.
No, Max Lawrence.
Max Lawrence.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Max
'cause
Lawrence.
he didn't really know. He was just like, I don't know, Spider-Man. Because everybody don't really know everybody, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
You kind of know who's in the Avengers and stuff now because of the movies. I don't think
Yeah.
people really I don't think kids of today's generation really read comics like that.
No, I don't
So
think
listen,
so either.
man, Caneswear is coming up Canes Fest is coming up this week.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna be there from the crew. You know what I
I'm so
mean?
jealous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
jealous.
Yo,
We'll
y'all
see
make sure y'all
practice.
show my guys some love down there, man. And,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
look out for them. I'm not gonna be there, so don't be trying to pick on my man because I'm not there. You know what I mean?
Why would they do that? Wait a second.
Somebody go.
I'm
Somebody
trying to
go put him in
you
the
know what I
trunk.
mean? Don't be walking by trying to smack him in
Hey.
the back of his head and all that.
Wait a second. Why you putting out?
Feel free to throw all hot dogs.
Oh,
Don't hit him with
Hey.
no glizzies. Don't hit him with no glizzies.
what kind of team is this? This is bullshit.
a 25% discount card at Caneswear if you hit Ben with a hot dog.
With a glizzy. Don't hit him.
Oh
With a
man,
glizzy,
yo.
son.
Hey, slide in my DMs if you hit him with a glizzy. I got you.
Nah,
Yeah,
don't,
just got the video of it.
don't do that. son.
No.
Nah,
Yo,
please
see-
don't.
yo,
Please
Yeah,
don't.
y'all
Ben,
last-
Ben a
would be the last-
super power bomb one of y'all out there at Canes
Yeah,
Fest.
man.
I don't
wanna
really
see
want
no
this to happen to
footage
you.
of that.
Nah, you thought the footage of that Mississippi fight was bad. Y'all ain't seen
Nah,
nothing.
y'all be.
Oh,
That's the
that
bad thing about Zoom and YouTube. You don't really know how tall or big people are. Ben
Yeah.
power bomb one of y'all out there.
I
Don't
don't
be.
wanna see it. And he
don't,
gonna have a-
don't take
and he
my
gonna have a
advice. I'm
U-Heart
in
shirt
Texas.
And he gonna
Yeah.
have a U-Heart
I have the
shirt.
U-Heart shirt.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
what
man.
I don't want to see
Merch
that
is coming.
representation. son.
yeah, definitely.
Nah,
not.
but
You know
go.
what I'm
But when
saying?
you
We
see
out there
Ben out there, go say what's up. Go.
Yeah,
Go.
man,
You
show
know what I'm
some
saying? When you
love,
see the
man.
bushy top, go represent. You know what I'm saying?
It's,
You heard
it's
it
slowly
in-
coming back.
Got
man.
going.
It's slowly coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's in the process. It's in the
We gonna see if
process.
this pain connection is official. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Treat
We find out, man.
VIP access, son.
Yeah,
It
that's what
should be
says.
dope, man. It sounds like it's gonna
I mean,
be dope. Have y'all went to them in the past?
You get like a barcode. Like, how do they know your Canes connection? Do you get like a
You sign up. You sign up for your email. I haven't got much communication after the first dono. You know what I'm saying? It's just been a thing. So I don't know if they, but I also RSVP'd for Canes Fest, and I haven't got any communication back because I signed up again through our email. YouHeardPod@gmail.com. gmail.com if you ever want to send us any, videos that we drop on the show and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll be out there with my boy. AB is gonna be out there. You already know the whole Miami Flow media is gonna be out there. My boy Poe Kane's gonna be. I'm gonna be rocking with him. I'm gonna go see practice. Gonna go grab something to eat probably and go back for Kane's Fest. So it's gonna be dope, man. I'm looking forward to practice. Like obviously the pictures and getting to like me, Coach Cristobal and Coach Maribal and Coach Joe and all those people will be real dope. But just like seeing practice, like being in that atmosphere, because we kind of saw practice at spring game, right? But like just seeing the whole process because you're able to see it all for the first time, I think ever. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. It sucks
and
that
it's
y'all
a little
can't be
bit
there,
more
man.
advanced too. Because they got more installed now than what they had in the spring, obviously, and you'll get a chance to see some of the guys who weren't there in the spring, bro. You get to see Fletch.
That's
even Shimmy Jamar, who wasn't there during the spring. You get to see him, Jedias Richard.
We met Fletch at spring game. He was out there just supporting the team.
Picture with
we
him,
met
I
him.
think.
Yeah, we took a picture with him. It should be on Flow's media stuff. But it was dope, and he was a big boy then, and he's put on weight since then.
So what are you looking, Ben? What are you looking to see? Like you about to watch practice? What will you be looking for at practice? Like what do you want to see out the practice?
I want to see speed, man. I want to see reaction. You know what I mean? I want to see a little bit of what I saw from Kiko and Jaden Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I didn't see hesitation from them, so that's what I want to see. I want to see like belief and confidence in themselves. You know what I mean? Because look, like I don't know how much they're really gonna show us and how, you know what I mean, like what kind of practice they're gonna do. But like one thing that stood out to me for spring game was like the difference in sizes of what is coming in this year to what we've had. Like it's crazy. Like when you really think about it, like I'm not gonna name names of people who ever hit the transfer portal recently or anything like that or in the past. You know what I mean? But like when you see the difference of what we have now, just the sheer size difference, like the sheer volume of the humans that are in the building now. I want to see how that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how that's working. I'm going to try, and I said it, and I, you know what I'm saying, and I told y'all like I'm gonna try to not get too crazy, too hyped up because I'll probably have a better idea, you know what I'm saying, by Saturday because I think they scrimmage the night before or something. Like they do their first scrimmage the night before, so who knows what they're gonna do at practice. But yeah, I want to see something that makes me like, all right, makes me have a little bit more of a belief in this season than like the right now, the wait and see. You know, I want to see if the tweets are real. I want to see if the hype of Emir Williams,
gas is real.
Yeah, like I want to see if some of that gas is real, like because he did drop the dime to Frank Ladson. That was a dime. That back shoulder, Frank Ladson adjusted.
Actually, a really good adjustment by Ladson too.
Really good adjustment. And then, you know what I'm saying, I want to see if that stuff. I want to see how TVD's looking in the office. I want things like I want to just see energy and confidence and belief, man. Because like to say that like I'm gonna be able to extrapolate that out to be like how they're gonna be this season. It's the second week of practice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
it's unrealistic. Yeah. Which I want to ask y'all, man. Like we're I think 4 practices in this week. How have you, like, I know me and Joe talked about it, so I'll kick it off with you, CB. Like, how have you processed this week, like, reading the feedback? And me and Joe already had our you know what I'm saying, a review of it. So how have you processed it, man?
Honestly, there have been some really cool little tidbits that have just come out since practice started, obviously. With some of the late additions, like we've seen somebody emerging in the secondary already. You know, we've all talked about that this year, that, you know, we got to be a little bit tighter at corner. Obviously, that was a massive point of contention for Cristobal and the staff. You can see the turnover at that position has been insane. Both in the transfer portal and what they brought in the class and what they continue to bring in. If you look at the 24 class, all the DBs can play corner and safety. It looks like they're really trying to address the back end. But we've seen someone that looks like he's stepping up and trying to earn himself a little bit more PT on the field. Jedias Richard looks like he has just been on fire from the very first practice to every time he steps on the field. It doesn't matter what publication it is, what writer it is, who's taking the video. His name consistently is popping up
every practice
as someone who's making plays every single practice. I think it was huge to hear James Williams embracing his new role. and being excited about his new role. Obviously, we all felt like he was probably going to move around, but now to have the confirmation and to hear him say how excited he is to move around in that new role, I think that's been really huge. To see the receivers get some of the love they've gotten, like Ray has just a glowing reviews about him and his speed and how he's catching on to the offense. Tyler Harrell, who was very vocal about like he's got a great he's already building great chemistry with TVD and he wants 1,000-yard season, is huge to hear. The tight ends, we've heard great things about Riley Williams and Elijah Arroyo, that Riley Williams is lighting it up. So that's been really cool to hear. And what's really been good to hear is just that there's energy out there. It feels like every practice there's that palpable energy out there on the field that we saw during the spring. And then you see during videos, but then you sometimes wonder, okay, are they, cutting this to make it look like, but everything we're seeing out there, it's high energy. It's competing. And then the quarterback room, if I can give one more, it seems like the quarterback room has been really solid so far. Ja'Cory's pocket accuracy is something people have been just raving about, that his accuracy in the pocket has been really good. And then our young freshman stud, Emory Williams, has just been putting on a clinic out there. So that it's been fun to see some of the storylines from spring carry over, and then some new ones get filtered in there with guys like Richard, who are establishing themselves. The young freshmen that came in look like that they're coming in hitting the ground running, and that's really exciting as well. It's just been a lot of fun to see a lot of that buzz from spring still carry over. All those storylines, guys like Jacoby George, who had a great spring, who we're all hoping will take that next step. He looks like he's just picked up right where he left off in the spring, and he's out there balling. I'm really excited for this team and what Cristobal's building.
Joe, what about you?
That was a long answer. Sorry.
No, but that's because look, we did a whole podcast, so you know what I'm saying? We went along too.
Got to catch up.
What do you think? What do you think in 2 days after, or a couple of days after our last show? What you feeling any different? Things you hear in press conferences? I think we saw OCDC. Could you wait till I finish the question? You know what I'm saying, before you give
Jesus
answer?
Christ.
OCDC press conference. Did you get anything? Did you get any nuggets from them?
Same shit. No.
Okay.
Nah.
Well, I got a question for y'all then.
Same shit. Hold on. No. It's I continue to I'm not gonna say excited to be excited, but I am interested in the coordinators, how the coordinators are gonna affect the team. Coach Guidry, Coach Dawson, just how they talk and their philosophies and how they approach game planning, how they approach in-game adjustments, adjusting on the fly, how they approach teaching. I'm very interested to see how that carries over. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Again, what the players say and what's happening now in practice, I don't really take too much stock in that, because it's practice. Like, the defense knows what the offense is doing. The offense pretty much knows what the defense is doing. You've been playing against each other for 8 months. Like, they haven't entered a stadium with, 40, 50,000 people yet, and somebody trying to rip their heads off. So, whatever. It's cool. Hopefully I just hope that they are learning the offense and the defense like the back of their hands, where they don't have to think too much. That's what I hope. You know what I mean? So, the coaches, I'm really more enamored with the coordinators than what the players are saying right now.
Yeah, because I think last year we kind of realized the importance of them, right? Like, because we had kind of had questions before, but like to have that drop of like what we thought the coordinators were and where our performance was, like it shows you like the importance of the personalities of coordinators as well.
Facts.
and the team. Or we're gonna ask CB.
Yep.
We've seen some people maybe stand out. And no, it's only 4 practices, obviously.
Sure.
But we've seen some people stand out a bit. And come for some spots. If you could have or guess someone on the offense and someone on the defense by the end of the season that will become a starter, and someone who's going to be a key starter, but that's going to start the season off that's not a starter, who do you think is going to emerge as a starter on the offense and the defense that maybe we didn't have penciled in at the beginning of the year? Because when Jedias transferred, we all knew we loved his versatility and he would fit. I don't think any of us knew, because of how late he came in, that he may hit game one out there with the one. So I'd be interested to know if you've got one on offense and one on defense that you think may earn his way on the field this year and become a starter that we didn't have penciled in at the beginning of the year.
I think so. With the Jedias
and don't say
thing,
Mark
right?
Fletcher.
Yeah, Mark Fletcher, you can't say. Like, that was the obvious one. I was thinking that. I was like, we can't say Mark Fletcher because that's like a consensus. Like every content creator
that's happening.
Like, Mark Fletcher. Yeah, that's already written. I with the Jedias thing, right? Like I always I'm a true believer in giving things context. We had no DBs, right? Like our two experienced DBs left. We have young guys behind them, so the door was
they're only the one corner that's coming back.
And he's more of a nickel. You know what I mean?
Well,
he's played some
DP.
Yeah.
Darryl Porter. But look, I when I say, you know what I'm saying, it's an open competition. You know what I mean? And the reason you get so many DBs, remember we had Terry Roberts come in for a cup of coffee and he went back to the Big Ten. I think Jedias with his SEC experience is going to be something. And I don't even know if he's going to end up being the starter because I have no idea what the question was at the end. I think at the end of the season, I think Ray is going to get starter games. But me and Joe talked about on the last one, like, starter might not mean what we think it means because the coaches have said, like, we're going to have heavy rotation. They're going to go with the hot hand. Like, there's no like, I don't want to see, and this is what me and Joe talked about last season. I'm tired of seeing the same 11 on the field just because it needs to be the same 11. Like, I want to see people changing. I want to see different numbers out there, regardless of what they're saying now. And I'll save that statement for the next round of questions.
I guess.
But yeah,
the way I'm thinking of it is like, so let's say towards the end of the year, Riley Williams becomes our key guy at tight end. I don't think anybody would have had that penciled, you know what I mean, at the beginning of the year because of who's in front of him. Like, I think that's more so what I'm thinking about. Like, is there someone that's going to get on the field, get starters reps? Because I think y'all are both right. Like, I think, well, we'll see a big rotation on both sides of the ball this year. Well, at least I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna say on defense, Jaden Harris. I think he's not penciled in right now, but I think he's gonna get a lot of reps as the season goes on. You know what I mean?
At the nickel, right?
I think all over. You know what I mean? I think he can play either one of the safety spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna start to get reps. On offense, I'm gonna say Samson. You know what I mean? I think as the season goes on, I think he'll start to insert himself. Because we're hearing glowing reviews, about him.
Okay,
as
I
well.
gotta follow up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, real quick. So if Samson's starting, then who does he beat out? Because it's only
me, bro. Our brain did the same thing.
Yeah, I think he'll be starting at left. Well, not starting to maneuver himself to take over the left tackle role.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
That's
what he's being groomed for, though, right? That's what he's being groomed for.
Exactly what he's been. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what he's 100%. All right. And I don't think I answered. Yeah. What about you, CB?
My bad.
Who you got?
On the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go with a freshman that I know when it's freshman, we all say you got to get freshman time. I think Joshua Horton towards the end of the season is going to establish himself as someone that that will get starters reps quite a bit because he can do a little bit of everything. He can stuff the run. He's really, really good as a pass rusher, really quick. And I think with the depth at defensive tackle, I think we could see him work his way in. I just think his explosion and his ability to get up the field will get him on the field, and his size. That's something that we're lacking a little bit behind Moton and Taylor is just overall size. So I think he could work his way into a serious role on the field towards the end of the year. And I'm just excited for him because his quickness is just insane. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with a receiver that someone isn't, for some reason, there's not a lot of buzz about him yet. And I'm not sure why. Robbie Washington. I think Robbie is going to, because the different things Robbie can do. I know we've got Ray, and he's very electric. Robbie's electric too, but in a little bit of a different way. Robbie's a bit of like a running back with the ball in his hands, whereas Ray's just a highlight. He reminds me of somebody like Kenyon Barner or DeAnthony Thomas. Robbie to me is more so that Stedman Bailey or not necessarily the Tavon Austin side, more so the Stedman Bailey side, where I think he'll be used more as a traditional route runner, traditional receiver. But once he gets the ball in his hands, Robbie is absolutely electric. And I think that's someone who could probably surprise a little bit and start getting some starters reps towards the end of the year and may become someone that is another one of those vertical threats. Because obviously we all know Ray, and obviously the other coaches know Ray too if he's being hyped up. So if you see 5 on the field, you're going to kind of know what's coming. I think 12 may shock you a little bit because it may be a freshman they're not necessarily keying in on. And with all the guys we have in the slot, somebody's going to emerge towards the end of the year. X probably won't be here next year, so someone has to start to emerge as that guy, whether that's Brashard, whether that's Ray, whether that's Robbie. And I think somebody like Robbie who's under the radar, Shamar Kirk, but I think Kirk can play a little bit everywhere. And I think in the future, Kirk is that number that one on the outside of Colby. Well, that's what I would hope for. So I think we can see something really cool from Robbie towards the end of the year where they're starting to use him more as a weapon a little bit.
I realized I didn't answer my defensive side. I would go when they drop down James Williams, I go Jaden Harris as that other safety. I'm saying that guy, he still stood out to me, still pops into my head. I'm saying thing about spring game, short tackler. I'm saying always where he needed to be. So that's my guy.
We haven't heard much about Brian Baylor, man. Like I remember before he got hurt, he was in line to get serious reps. You know what I mean? He was in line to get a lot of snaps. So I wonder, what's going on with him and if he's still doing this thing or not.
I think
another one.
Hold on. I think what happens sometimes is talent outweighs what they were in line to do. You know what I mean? Like you think about it, like Jadaeus Pritchard shouldn't be as highly talked about. Should be TC, right? Because what I'm saying he's been here. He's kind of like you think the next man up. Jadaeus doesn't even have spring, has no years in this game. When he shows up and everybody's like, "Yo, 4 practices in," everybody mentions Jadaeus. So I think, and honestly, I think at the end of the day, sometimes it just becomes a numbers game, right? Like I think we need to have a conversation of like what starter reps are, right? Like, is there like a cutoff on numbers? Because if you get the first 3 snaps, but we don't see you again to the first 3 snaps in that third quarter, you know what I'm saying? You were technically the starter, but we rotated the hell out of you, and you didn't find your way back in the field. We got to figure out what that number is. Because I remember last year we all like.
Yeah, it's gonna change from game to game. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then also like how that affects, like that's where like the culture and the mentality question comes into for me, right? It was like because those guys are like, yo, I should be out there tweeting out certain things, yada yada yada. But like, does that mentality? Do you become Marquise Lightfoot, where we ask, hey man, what's your goal? What's your goal for this year? Oh, for us to win a championship, or is it, hey man, I need to get my catches, or I need to get my burn on the D line because I'm about to go. Like anything, like what becomes a mentality in those moments is a big thing. So, yeah, man, yeah, Brian Bell, I haven't heard anything. I didn't even know if I'm keeping it a buck, didn't even know he was still on the team.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's another young player that's really interesting. So we've talked about him quite a bit on this show. Is Malik Bryant. We were all anytime we talk about some of the young linebackers, that's where I'm getting at. So I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I've always thought rush linebacker, defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all feeling about our boy being put in the middle? How we feeling about that? You love it, don't you? That athleticism, bro.
I love it.
So we looking at in the future Malik in the middle with Popo and Pulliam on both sides.
And Wesley. Don't forget Wesley.
Bobby.
Well, I mean the next
Pruitt.
generation.
Mm-hmm.
That next generation after West, we looking at.
I would like to see
That's DJ Williams, bro.
I would like to see Marcellus at middle too, man. You know what I mean? So Malik,
that's the biggest one.
Marcellus right behind them, or whatever, 1, 2 in the middle. Because I think Marcellus, he's already big. He already big. You know what I mean? And
he's the biggest one. I thought it would be Malik, but Marcellus is the biggest linebacker.
Boy.
Yeah, Popo big too.
So
thumpers, Popo,
Popo big, bro. But I thought that was fascinating because I think we all penciled him in as outside / rush.
And I've been saying it as long as I can remember. I was like, he's gonna grow into a DN. Like in my mind, that just see Allen.
That's what I thought.
Like that's all I see, and I couldn't like they have him there. But I think we also have to. We have to stop picturing what the past was, because I got into it a little bit with my guy Cuban Kane, right? Just a little back and forth about height of linebackers because of the clip of Guidry on Monday saying no more 5'9" linebackers, and then you know what I'm saying, that's what he said. Don't get mad at me. I'm quoting him. And then you know what I'm saying, and then them giving Corey Flagg his flowers that he's been really good with the effort and stuff like that. Again, no knock on him. We're not rehashing that, but. So I looked at it, I was like, yo, man, like, you need the size to be different. I was like, oh, but what about Rohan Marley? So this is what I did. I don't often do like the thorough research. I do a little pop, right? The average size of offensive lineman when Rohan Marley was a linebacker was around 290 to 295. Right?
Game's different.
That is right now the game is different. So we have to stop, and this is just a blanket statement. We have to stop comparing to who we were to who we are now. We have to let that go. Like Joe always says, 22 is not 2023. 2001 is not 2023. 1980.
Yeah, it also ain't 1980 either.
Yeah, this ain't none of them years. The bodies are different now. So then I go, you know what? I'm gonna look at the standard, right? Like who's been dominant the most recently, besides Georgia, it's been Alabama. Their linebackers average 6'3", 6'4" and a half, 225 to 240. That is their average. Remember, Alabama always has a standard, right? Always has. You look at it, they had Derrick Henry. They have a body type they go after. So those days of like, oh, but they can't do it. Yes, 100% there could be those rare exceptions of a Hall of Famer, Zach Thomas. You know what I'm saying? You named the
Luke
undersized
Kuechly,
linebacker with a lot of heart and could do it. But fam, like that's a lot of uphill battle when you're already 6'4" and are more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an easier curve than be like in 3 years he's really gonna be something. That's a long ass turn to be like, yo, every linebacker we have now is bigger than every linebacker we've had in the last 3-4 years. The bodies are different.
You want to hear something interesting?
Let's put that shit to bed right now. Let's put that shit to bed right now. The comparisons of the greats we've had, the sizes in the game is different. Offensive linemen and defensive linemen were totally different sizes. Those wouldn't work now. They would get dominated on sheer size. We've evolved. We've gotten bigger. That's it, man. What are you gonna say, CB?
So what's interesting about that, to the size of linebackers and just the athleticism of linebackers now, Jerome Bettis had a really good interview about a year or so ago when they asked him about the evolution of running backs. He was like, man, where where are the big bruisers who could still run? Where are the 6'3" running backs, the 6'2" running backs? He said, well, they play defensive end now. They play linebacker now because running back got devalued. You look at a guy like Myles Garrett, he used to be a running back. He would have been an Eric Dickerson. He's not getting paid doing that. Now he plays DN. Look at Malik Bryant. These elite athletes now are playing linebacker. So your Derrick Henry-sized running backs, you got one of them now. All the other ones are playing linebacker now. Look at Vincent Shavers. Look at all these guys that are those rare, weird, athletic size and speed combinations. They're now going to play rush outside linebacker, middle linebacker. We see safeties now. Caleb Spencer that has that body type that you're going, man, like that's a 95 OU running back. But now those athletes are playing linebacker. So like Ben said, you got to adjust now. So the offensive line starts adjusting. Look at the guys we have. Look at Marangoa. Not just big and physical, but he's quick, fast, athletic. Look at Derek Plaz. Look at Juan Manaya. Look at Samson. The style of football player has to change. Look at the size of corners now. They're huge. Why?
Yep.
Because you get bigger receivers. You got to get bigger corners. Then Seattle shows you, hey, 6'2", 6'3" corners can work if you know how to use them with length. Now, then what did you see? All these 6'2", 6'3" receivers start moving to corner, start moving to DB, start moving to safety. Look at the next class. One of the best safeties in the class, DJ Pickett, former receiver. Big, strong, crazy length, ball skills, moving to safety. He's going to be a star. The game adjusts, like Ben is saying. You can't look at 10 years ago and go, ooh, do what they do. If so, we'd be running the wing T still. Go trot out that wing T tomorrow and see how that works. Can you take aspects from the game in the past? Yes. But like Ben says, the game evolves, and you got to evolve with the times. Schemes evolve, and you have to evolve with the times. It just is what it is.
The best coach of our time, Nick Saban, adjusted to today's game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He adjusted to today's game because he knows how to win. Shout out to Flo. Flo had Zoe on the show. And Zoe talked about watching Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State. He watches their games and he looks at the recruits. He watches what recruits they get, and he recruits like them because he's like, I want to watch the successful programs, what type of players they are bringing in, what type of body types. And look at what we're doing now. Look at what we're moving to. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? That just makes sense. You don't want to be hard-headed. That makes sense. You know what I mean?
Joe.
Yes, sir.
Last cycle or 2 cycles ago, who are we fighting with for recruits? Virginia Tech, Florida, Florida State, UCF. This cycle and last cycle, who are we fighting with recruits? Bama, Texas, LSU, Georgia. Yeah. When you see kids announce their top 5s and we're in it, and you don't see UCF, you don't see ACC school. They are recruiting a different style of young. You just said that, and I went, oh, dog. We have been battling with. Yep. Look at the tight end Odom. Who do we lose him to? Bama.
Alabama.
Justin Scott. You see the teams that we are battling with in recruiting. It's not the same teams we were battling with the previous regimes. That's a great point. I didn't even, when you say it, you go, oh yeah, I didn't even notice we're doing that. But it's actually really fascinating because now my brain is like showing me all these top 5s from this class, and I'm seeing all the schools in it, and it's not Arizona, it's not Arizona State. Which no disrespect to any other programs, but they recruit a different style of player.
Yeah.
We were talking about it in the chat earlier that, conferences used to have different styles. But you can see now, literally, you can see now that
really
they are recruiting a different body style, a different type of player. That is fascinating, man.
Shout out to Colin Simmons, man. You know what I mean? My birthday coming up, brother, on the 10th.
Yeah.
You committing on the 10th. You know what I mean? Not that I not that I'm important, but try to make a brother happy. You know what I mean?
He's already
is that your one now? Because
Dylan
gone. Is that the top of your board now?
Nah, Colin Simmons always been my one. 1A.
Colin Simmons will be number one.
With
Dylan.
Won't be
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still got Breland out there too. We still got Big Cam out there. We got Eddie Pierre out there.
There's still names. There's still a lot of names.
I think Stone commits August 20 something.
26 or something like that.
26
something. And Colin Simmons Thursday, man. Colin Simmons Thursday, man.
LJ McCray don't have a date yet, but obviously still working on LJ McCray. You got Aiden Breland, still working on Aiden Breland. Papa Afua don't have a date, still working on him.
Yeah, and the staff works, man. They work. I don't know if you guys listen to the bank, to D Money. He alluded to, that we're still in it for Mr. Simmons, man. Like, we having real conversations. And it's crazy that Mr. Lightfoot talked about the negative pitches, talking about how Jason Taylor never coached. Coach Taylor don't coach, hasn't coached before. But, you know what I mean? That's like Michael Jordan. He never coached. So I'm not taking
advice. Yeah, that's wild.
You know what I mean? I'm not taking Michael Jordan's advice because he never coached nobody before. What are you talking about?
He's done it though. It's because he did it.
At the
highest,
hey, you know what the response to that is? He didn't coach, but he made a lot of coaches rich.
Yeah, a lot of players rich too.
He made a lot of his own coaches crazy rich because they got credit for things he did on the field.
Yeah, man.
So I'm not trying to hear that.
Yeah, I caught that too when Mr. Lightfoot said that. But it's one of those where you just kind of enjoy the nugget and you move on. You don't have to, what I'm saying? Like, okay, all right. Obviously that was a pitch.
I don't know if y'all saw this, but they had the big media day in South Florida for some of the high schools this past week. Ja'Cory Barney said he had talked to the staff this week. He said they still talk every week. They asked him, when was the last time you contacted the staff or they talked to you? He said, this week.
Yeah. Oh, it don't stop.
Boys work 25 hours a day, dog.
It does not stop.
Boys work 25 hours a day, dog.
Especially with Coach Cristobal, man. Every recruit is going to tell you the same thing, man. These dudes are relentless.
Yeah.
And again, December, January, that's signing day, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's still up for grabs right now.
And then they got in so late on guys like Barney or guys like Elias Rudolph. If they got in so late and was able to still make that top 5, top 3, why would you not go, man, let me apply some more pressure? If we got in that top 5 after
what the visitor list is going to be like for Texas A&M, man? Like,
it's going to be in the building, baby.
It's
going to be in the building.
Clemson, you know what I mean? It's going to be
Clemson. I think Clemson will be a big one too. That's going to be what I love seeing too is now you see the recruits tweeting out like, "Hey, what game should I go to?" And you see other recruits hitting them like, "Hey, I'm going to A&M." Like slide, like most of them are all saying the same thing. Like, I'm coming to A&M. Like, I think that's really cool. Like, the staff has built this thing with not just the commits, but with everyone else they're recruiting, where you see them talk to each other constantly about little things like, hey, what game should I go to? You see the fans in the replies, but then you see Judd, Paz. You see other commits that's not even other recruits that's not even committed. Like, hey, I'm going to so-and-so game. Like, come chill. Like, I think that's that camaraderie that they've started to build. I think that's really cool, man. Because when someone makes that choice that, hey, let me lock in my spot over here, but I still want to hear what Miami got to say, they probably feel at least comfortable, right? Because Cristobal then made it feel like, whether you're committed here yet or not, you still get to eat at the barbecue. You still one of us. So I think some of them, like Rudolph, could feel comfortable going, all right, let me lock in my spot here. But also, y'all putting something on the grill this weekend? Can I? Like, I think that's really Joe. You always talk about the relationship aspect of Cristobal, and I think we
that's
see
recruiting now. That's recruiting now. I have to lock it. I'm gonna lock in my spot over here, but I'll see what's popping in December and then February. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Some people you're always gonna have a spot for, right? Colin Simmons, David Stone, you know what I mean? JoJo, Jeremiah.
Cam Franklin.
If I call you, the spot is gonna be there. You know, the spot's not going in there. I don't care how many receivers we have. If Jeremiah Smith calls and say, "Yo,
somebody,"
like,
oh,
word.
Yeah, I take a jersey off somebody. You hear me?
Hey man, take that off real quick. Take that off. Hey, no,
he want that number. Sorry, I don't know what
it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's just what it is. That's why December, man. I'm asleep. I'm out until December, son.
Let me ask you another question then.
What's popping?
I got a ton of questions. Sorry, people in the chat that thinks I talk too much. I'm sorry. I haven't talked to my guys in too long. I got questions.
It's a podcast, man. That's literally the show.
Realignment is a real thing right now. Like conference realignment is a real thing. It's getting.
We talked about it earlier. Yeah,
it's getting ugly. Let me ask both of y'all a question. How do you see this affecting recruiting going forward? If you used to be in a Power 5, Joe, you got a son. You know what I mean? Let's say he was at Miami, and then Miami is now a MAC. You know that they're in the MAC or the WAC.
Don't say that.
How do you think? I'm sorry, bro. All right, let's use another analogy. Let's use another analogy because a team like Cal looks like they may be on the outside, right? Or Stanford. Sure, if I went to Stanford last year, I'm a 4-star. Obviously, I'm going there for the school, for the education. Yes. But I'm thinking too, I'm playing Pac-12 football. I'm getting seen. I'm still at a Power 5 school. How do you think this affects recruiting going forward with some of these schools, unfortunately, may end up G5 schools or G6 or whatever it's going to become?
You want to go, Joe?
Yeah, so I feel like it's still going to be the Power 5, right? But the SEC and the Big Ten are gonna be those two, and it's still gonna be the ACC,
hand off camera.
The Pac. They're still gonna be here. They're gonna have to merge somehow. Maybe the ACC and the Big 12 and the Pac-10 merge into their own super conference or whatever. But we know the Big Ten and the SEC is gonna rule the world, you know what I mean? Like they're doing now, you know what I mean?
When you bring back the Big East, baby.
Yeah, when you telling me you making at least 30 million more than everybody else, every other conference,
minimum.
Yeah, you run college football. So for Miami, I don't care which one you go to, SEC or Big Ten, just go somewhere. Do not get caught up. Do not get caught lagging, son. And I really don't think that's going to happen because, Radakovich is a beast. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sure there's conversations that are happening that nobody knows about. But I think we don't want to get caught behind and have to end up in the Pac Big 12. The big Pac 12. We don't want to end up there. So.
You don't want to be playing Idaho State? What is it? No, who's you don't want to
have to travel.
You don't want to be down there in the Big 12 with UCF, baby. Huh? UCF versus Miami, replacing Miami versus Florida State as the rival.
I'm good. Let's get this.
Are you worried about that at all?
Let's get this.
You worried about losing some rivalry games if we end up somewhere else?
I think the only rivalry game we'll constantly have forever is Florida State. I think I respect, I hate them completely, but at least they've always kept us on the schedule regardless. They've never gotten scared like that other team in the SEC. So
them being non-conference could shake that up though.
Yeah, it depends on where they go. Like if they go SEC, but I think they still. I don't think they will change. I mean, I don't. Well, you never know. Money's money, right? Because that would if let's say Miami's Big Ten and Florida State is SEC, know what I'm saying? That would be a dope rivalry game because that would be like, you know how like there's the ACC Big Ten Challenge in basketball, like those little tournaments, like that'd be a dope little thing. So I was listening through the smoke, man. Shout out to David Lake and Gabby, man. They, you know what I'm saying, reporters are reporters. They got David Lake dropped a little thing I had no idea about. August 15th. So in about by the time y'all hear this, 7 or 8 days, is the deadline when teams have to let the commissioner know when if they're leaving the conference or not. We're in a first of all, let's keep it. We're in a fucking terrible contract
for the next year. So for 24, like, is that an every year thing? August 15th.
That they didn't clarify. I think if they're like their intent to leave, right? Because I don't know when they can leave. Like that's the thing that has to be like negotiated with. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember how just earlier this week, like Washington and Oregon were leaving and then they weren't leaving and then they were and then they left. Like it's one of those things that's like upcoming, but they had to tell them the intention to leave. That's why you see like a school like Florida State.
It might be a 24 thing because you probably got to it's probably for
scheduling.
CB's frozen.
You know what I mean? Because that changes how to schedule the rest of their conference games. I wonder.
But it might be like a 25, 26 thing, depending on how much money they have to come up with to break their contract, right? Like that's the other thing. Like remember, this is a 20-year contract. So the SEC and Big Ten have two in the time. This is fucking crazy, right? The SEC and the Big Ten are gonna renew their contract twice before the ACC even gets out of there. One. The Big 12 or whatever it is now is also going to renegotiate their contract twice before, like, so all three other conferences. This is how far behind and how terrible this contract is. Now, as far as like the money that they would need to break the contract, that stuff I don't know. That's some people with way deeper pockets and way bigger lawyers than I'll ever understand. But yeah, like Joseph, you have to go. You have to be first, man. You have to be one of those to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. I personally would kind of like the Big Ten just to have, you know what I'm saying, the just to see like the different settings. But like the SEC would be cool too. But a 3 Florida teams is not necessarily gonna be beneficial. I don't think the Big Ten would want Miami because you want that Miami market and some of that Florida, so some of those Florida views because you don't have a stamp or a foothold on anything in the South, so you would want that. And I think what would end up happening, not so much like a G5, it'll still be like the P5 G5 type of situation, but it'll be like the big 3, the other 2, and then other people, and then like what it'll be is like those lower recruited players hit the transfer portal and they're able to go up to those higher conferences. You know what I'm saying? Like how you do now. Like you had kids from like University of Louisiana going to Alabama. You know what I mean? Because maybe they don't have the grace to get into Alabama and they become almost like a feeder league, right? Like that where like they grow up. So you just never know. I'm just saying.
You don't need grades to get into Alabama, son.
That's not Miami, bro.
You good.
It's not Miami.
You good.
Yeah, boys got pulses and run 4 threes. They get in.
Yeah.
6'5", 250. I'm here. But I'm just saying, like, whatever it is, you really don't need grades there.
It's really interesting, though, because with the transfer portal, you could imagine a school that may be on the outside looking in right now. If you wanted them, there were 4 left in the Pac-10 or Pac-12, you looking at all your blue chippers worried at this moment the way the transfer portal works. You end up getting relegated to the WAC, and boys are chunking dues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's got to be terrifying for a school right now, man. Especially if you're one of those that's not a marquee, you know what I mean, program, but you're in a Power 5. Like if the Big 12 ends up merging with the AC, well, part of my friend's going to be asked out. So, you know, I think it may become,
you just say it.
It may, sorry, man. It may get wild with the transfer portal next year with what we see with all this realignment.
Yeah.
Look at a young man, you know, that was committed to us and didn't get to come, was supposed to go to Florida. Now he's at another school. What if that school, you know, becomes G5? You know what I'm saying? It's so interesting to see how do you hold on to this talent that you've grabbed if you no longer can offer them the TV, the spotlight, sometimes it's not just about what our TV schedule is, hey, we play USC. Hey, we play so-and-so. Hey, we go to blah, blah, blah. You're going to have a marquee game because we play Oregon, but if now that's Hawaii and that's Wyoming and that's, you know what I mean? That's a different recruiting pitch. I'm very curious to see how this all plays out. I think we'll be fine because the brand, like Ben said, if you want a foothold in the South, this brand, no matter where you go,
you gotta come through Miami.
People notice you. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I said, bro, you can literally tweet out a you GIF, give it an hour, you're gonna get 5 likes. Everybody not gonna be from Florida.
Yeah.
This
look
brand
at us.
Travels. So
look at us right here.
Look at us. So I think
Chicago, there's a huge Miami presence in Chicago. Huge.
I think it'll be interesting, and then those styles, just playing them smash mouth teams from the Big Ten with the speed we got. I think it'll be fun.
And I think that's part of the concern, right? The scheduling part of it. But I feel like if you go to the Big Ten and you bring and Florida State goes and Clemson, let's say Florida State, Clemson, and UNC. So 3 times a year, you're playing against those guys. So you'll be home. But then you have like a Penn State. That's Pennsylvania. That's not a bad travel.
It's not that
Miami
bad.
to Penn State or, but then, you got
But you
Michigan,
might have Oregon now.
State or whatever. Yeah, you might have.
But then you got to go yonder.
And you might because they're going to have to break it up to 2 sides.
Yeah.
You're going to have 2 sides. You know what I mean? So you got maybe Big 12 West and Big 12 East or something like that. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to break it up. That's probably the most interesting.
Yeah, you might have like one game.
How they're going to schedule it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll probably have like that one.
And remember, that works the reverse too, man.
You cut out, man.
Yeah, they got to come here. That shit works the reverse too. Everybody like, well, what y'all gonna do when y'all got to go up to the Big Ten when it snows? What the boys gonna do when it's 105 down there in Miami with 55% humidity?
Yeah, but
what the boys in the middle of the country gonna do when they come down there and it's blazing hot?
It doesn't seem like the scheduling is in our favor. Like we'll mess around and be in Wisconsin in November. So, you know what I mean? And
but Crystal Ball, here's another thing though. Crystal Ball recruits from the middle of the country.
Nationally,
Crystal Ball recruits from the West Coast. Crystal Ball recruits from everywhere. So them Canes gonna travel well. Don't y'all worry about that. Them boys gonna travel well. And again, they gotta for everyone who's saying we got a weird matchup there, but they gotta see us the same way. It's gonna be weird when we up there in Wisconsin in November. It's gonna suck for them at the beginning of the year when them Penn State boys got to come down here in this humidity.
Mm-hmm.
It's all gonna work itself out.
I would like us to win the ACC one time. So
one good time for your boy. Yeah, that'd be
nice.
Hey man, bring back the Big East, man. Let's have a party. Let's get Pitt.
I know that would be
the Big East.
That'd be like D2 at this point. What would even be left? What is
you would take some of the ACC, take some of the Big 12.
Oh, that sounds like ground beef, fam. No, I don't want any of it.
TCU's a solid program. We get TCU.
Oh, okay.
You gotta have some people you can beat. So throw UVH up in there.
No.
you gotta.
No, I don't want any part of it. No. There's got to be another story program, some with a history on the other side of that. No, I don't want just a bunch of random parts. Man, nah,
I like TCU.
I'm good.
They purple.
Yeah, you could like them. You could like them, but I could not want to play them. You could like them. You could watch them on that Saturday night game when they put up 65 points in a no defensive conference. Hey,
against Idaho.
Yeah, don't want that at all. Yeah, I prefer.
That's another thing too. You got to think about the style of play when you're going to different conferences, man. Like the Big 12 style of play is so different than what you see in the other conferences. The SEC style is a bit different. Now, obviously, it's merging a bit more now because everyone's starting to recruit everywhere. But you still got the Big 10 style. We know what that is, right? Like we know Wisconsin's lining up an I formation. Like we know what's happening here.
That's
like
always
that SEC style, big offensive line, fast defenses, defensive ends, pass rushers. then you know that Big 12, 75 passes a game from the quarterback. You know, that you have to think about that too. Like you go into a different conference or your team is built for something, and then you walk into the Big 12 and you trying to go I formation, twins left, you're gonna get cooked. Like
it looks like Miami's building for the Big 10 though, right? Like they did the AAU thing earlier in this year to get into entrance because no SEC school requires that. So it looks like they're building to that. Look at the way he's recruiting. You know what I mean? Like it's an easier pitch when but my son's going all the way to Miami. Yeah, but your son will be here in October when we play Wisconsin. You know what I mean? Or when we play Penn State or when we play Ohio State and all. So the pitch becomes very different. And a Justin Scott conversation might be very different when you're playing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we'll be home, but he'll be a little bit away, but we'll be right back here. Yeah, man. That's a lot. That's interesting. And all of it is money.
So interesting, man. Yeah.
It's all of it is money.
It's just
all right, man. I got nothing else for the people. You got something? Y'all got something else?
You got any questions or anything?
Nah, no questions.
Hey, shout out to the Big 12.
We did when we do a guest, you know what I'm saying? We just cook.
Please no.
Stop saying shout out to the Big 12. Please no Big
12. Please no. I'm saying that as a joke. Please no. As selfish as I would love to be because I get to go to a bunch of games, I don't want that. The style of play is different. And that conference really started all this nonsense with giving Texas the Longhorn Network and all that old.
Just in case my son ends up in the Big 12, shout out to the Big 12. I don't know where he's gonna end up, so he may end up somewhere.
Yeah.
Joe got to keep all bridges unburnt. Hey, shout out to the MAC. Shout out to the WAC. Sunbelt, hold it down.
Those even conferences still exist? Is the Sunbelt still around?
I think so. Does it some?
I have no idea. AAC, is it AAC still around? I have no idea.
The yeah. Bring back the SWAC or what?
Southwestern.
What was it?
Southwestern Athletic Conference. Southwestern.
Bring them back.
Southwestern Athletic Conference.
We need to get rid of regional names for conferences. Period. They got to.
How about no conferences? Just everybody.
Just play football. Just play football.
Y'all notice how the NCAA is staying real quiet? NCAA ain't saying shit. They're just like, I don't know what. There's everybody's leaving
because they woke up. They woke up, looked at their phone. They was like,
yeah,
they doing what?
The only reason they're there and they ain't doing shit.
People don't need the NCAA, man.
Cowards.
And they don't need you to know that. They don't need you to know that.
Non-profit too, man. It's that You Heard podcast, man. We up out of here, yo.